The mics are on, dead men are telling no tales, and this is finally episode 4 of Our Disney Opinions. My name is Jason, I am one of your hosts, and I am joined by my lovely co-host in life. Her name is Julie, and she sounds just like this.
How do we do this again? It's been a long time.
We remembered our lines so far, sort of.
All right, well, that's a good start.
It has been a long time, and the studio is undergoing refurbishment for your future enjoyment.
Yes.
And
we've been living life.
And yeah.
The complex life of 2021.
And there wasn't a lot happening at Disney other than they were trying to limp along and get to the summer. But now we're at the summer and there's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
So we're going to do 3 things, and we're going to start talking about how we plan Disney trips for folks as part of Goofy Getaways. And as a reminder, we are travel planners with Goofy Getaways, and we can help you plan a fantastic Disney vacation, anything from itinerary planning, what parks you should visit, where you should stay, when you should go, and how much you're going to end up spending. We can help you with all of that, and that's what we're going to discuss over the next few episodes as we talk about Disney trip planning.
Sounds good.
Cool. But we are going to start off, like I said, there is a whole bunch of stuff happening, so we are going to add a little bit of a news segment, and it's called The News as We Know It, and this is the first story.
All right, so the first story is some great news. By the end of 2021, all Walt Disney World Resort hotels will have reopened finally. After we just recently learned of the reopening of Boardwalk, Polynesian, and Animal Kingdom Lodge, the final 4 reopening dates were announced, and here they are. Value options All-Star Music and All-Star Sports are back. You can check into music beginning September 16th and sports beginning December 9th. And the fan favorite, well, in our family, fan favorite, moderate options Port Orleans Riverside and French Quarter are both getting ready to receive guests again. You can visit Riverside starting October 14th and the French Quarter on October 28th.
Excellent. Which one are you most excited for?
They're all so good, but it'll be nice to be back at Port Orleans.
Yeah.
Really.
I've always wanted to stay at French Quarter, and we haven't. We've eaten there a lot because we like the food court there. But
we've wandered through there quite often.
Yep.
But Riverside's so nice too.
Riverside's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's nice to see all that coming open again.
Excellent news, and that means everything is open, and we don't know capacity-wise how much of any given resort they're filling. They haven't, they don't. Disney doesn't like to talk about numbers like that very often. They aren't going to give us occupancy rates very often. They just like to tell us that it's busy or not busy or a great time to come to Walt Disney World.
I mean, it must be getting busier if they're opening everything now.
If they're opening more stuff. Yep, that's a solid scientific guess right there.
That's me.
Yeah.
All science.
All science. All right, well, moving on. Announcements keep coming for Walt Disney World's 50th anniversary celebration, and that starts on October 1st. The latest news concerns nighttime spectaculars, and we already knew that Harmonious was headed to Epcot, and we assumed the start date was going to be October 1st, and Disney finally did confirm that that is in fact the case.
Yay!
But, yes, I know. But they also surprised everybody when they announced that Magic Kingdom would also get a new nighttime show called Disney Enchantment. And as they say, it's going to inspire everyone to believe in magic, and the show will feature music, lighting effects, fireworks, and the amazing projections on the castle that we've all grown to love. But now those projections will make their way down Main Street and end up on all the buildings down there, so it really kind of puts folks into the show who used to just watch it, from afar on Main Street. They'll all get to be a little more into that show now, and that's really cool. And then Animal Kingdom is also getting a new show that takes place in the afternoon called Disney Kite Tales, and it will be in the Discovery River Amphitheater that's located in front of Expedition Everest and kind of in front of the Finding Nemo the Musical Theater, where they used to do Rivers of Light that no longer exists, and it will feature massive 3-dimensional kites and some even being pulled by jet skis that we assume are being moved across property from Epcot Forever, which will cease to exist once Harmonious starts.
That's all really exciting. I think I'm most excited about the castle projections being on the street too. I can't wait to see what that's going to look like.
I love projection mapping and stuff, and just always am so amazed by what they do with it.
Well, they've done such an awesome job right along with it. So
for sure.
Every time they do something new, I'm amazed. So
and I loved Illumination's Reflections of Earth, and really can't wait for Harmonious. I know there's a lot of chatter on the internet about the giant barges out in the lagoon and how they're an eyesore, and I think it's worth it for an awesome show. And we'll get to see them in person in a few weeks, we hope. So.
All right, so on to the third story. Holiday celebrations are back at Walt Disney World this fall and winter, but they look a little different, just like everything else. Boo Bash has replaced Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party, at least for now. And it features Halloween-themed cavalcades, character sightings throughout the park, special performances by the Cadaver Dans, decor, lighting, music, treat stops with plenty of candy, and so much more. Boo Bash takes place on select nights from August 10th through Halloween, runs from 9 p.m. to midnight most nights, and prices for this after-hours event start at $129 per person. Similarly, Disney Very Merriest After Hours. I did it. I said it right.
That is quite a name.
Rolls right off the tongue.
Disney's Christmas thing that's not really Christmas, but all holidays, but mostly America, that takes place at night after the park is closed,
Right.
but still open for you.
Disney Very Merriest After Hours debuts on November 8th and will be available on select nights through December 21st. While ticket prices have not been revealed yet, we would expect them to be similar to Boo Bash. This event will feature 4 hours of festivities and include Minnie's wonderful Christmas time fireworks, Disney characters throughout the park, holiday music and decor, treats included, and more. We can, of course, help you book tickets for either of those events.
We can.
We can,
Yeah,
and would
so-
love to.
And I think the interesting thing on the Christmas one, or the holiday one, is that it's an hour longer than Boo Bash. Boo Bash is 3 hours, and they said Very Merriest After Hours Fun Time is 4 hours. And that one also includes fireworks, and Boo Bash does not include fireworks. So I think that's very interesting that they are cooking up some kind of evening fireworks show.
Fireworks have been gone for so long. I feel like that's
Yeah.
them being optimistic about the state of the world by the time we get to holiday.
Or they just didn't have time to
Yeah.
rebuild Hollow Wishes.
Well, yeah.
Or whatever, I don't know what it all takes to put something like that together. 'Cause-
Probably longer than we spend putting together a podcast.
Probably so. Well, very good. And that has been the news as we know it, which leads us to 3 things.
3 things.
3 things. Still needs a theme song. We'll get there.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
Sure. What are 3 things that you love to do that aren't in one of the 4 Disney theme parks, major theme parks?
3 things that I love to do that are not in one of the 4 major theme parks. Okay. I have a lot of things that I love to do. So I will start by saying I love to go play mini golf. And there are several awesome places. My favorites are Fantasia Gardens, which is the one where you go through and each hole is a different Fantasia theme. You hear Fantasia music. There's fun little effects that happen throughout. And then Winter Summerland has always been a hoot for our family to go through. So that's one of my 3 things. Or is that 2?
I think that's one.
Is that one?
Mini golf in general.
Okay, mini golf in general, that's one. Another thing that I love to do is to hop on the monorail and travel around to the resorts on the monorail loop and just hop off at each one, take a look at how they're decked out depending on what time of year we're there. My favorite time to do this would be when we're there in December, January, holiday time, because they really pull out all the stops with all those decorations. And it's just fun to see. It's fun to get out of the theme park for a little bit and have a little bit of downtime. And then
So which of the 3 hotels is your favorite on the monorail line for Christmas, for holiday decorations?
Oh, probably Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
That gingerbread house.
I know.
I really look forward to it every year. I've seen it so
And
many
the
times,
gingerbread
and it
in the
never
house.
disappoints. Well, yes, there is the eating of the gingerbread also. That is not to be missed. All right, and then my third thing. Oh, I just had it in my head too. What was it? Oh, I know what it was. There are several places throughout property where you can rent a boat and travel on the Disney waterways in your boat with your family, depending how big of a boat you decide to rent for that amount of time. And we've just had such great experiences with our family doing those things. I prefer larger boats that I don't have to drive myself. We did take water sprites out once very early in our marriage. I did not enjoy that as much. I prefer for someone else to drive the boat. That's all I'm going to say. But if you're into the water sprites, I can see how they're a really great thing.
I think they call them water mice now.
Oh, do they now?
I think they do. But either way, they're the tiny little 1 to 2 person speedboats that you'll see zipping around Bay Lake and Seven Seas Lagoon. And I think they're fantastically fun.
It's far too much freedom for me.
So we are split 50-50 on that opinion. They're great. They get a decent amount of speed. You can jump some wakes of the bigger boats in your little 1 to 2 person water mice.
Yep, and if you're a person like Jay, you find that to be really fun.
Yes,
if you're a person like
fun.
me, it's a little frightening.
Well, fine.
But I do think that renting a boat is a good way to go.
Excellent. Well, I liked your 3.
All right.
My 3, I have one overlapping, and that is definitely mini golf. I have a different favorite course than you do.
I knew you would.
I love Fantasia Fairways. It is the partner course at Fantasia Gardens. Those are both located over by the Swan and Dolphin and Boardwalk hotels. Fantasy Fairways looks more like a real golf course, only miniaturized, and they have little sand traps, and the holes are much longer and slightly more challenging than Fantasia Gardens. And rumor has it from cast members who work there that each hole is designed to be able to get a hole in one if you hit it just right with the right speed at the right angle. And I don't know.
I call shenanigans on that.
I think we've seen one hole in one from like my entire family sometime in our lives, and I think it was my brother Josh, but I might be making that up, but we'll roll with it because nobody's here to tell me no.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
Give credit to him.
Well, that's good. Good job, Josh. Way to go. Regular old Tiger Woods. No relation. My second of 3 things that I love to do that is not in a park. I know a lot of people like to eat and drink around the world at Epcot. I like to eat and drink around Disney Springs. I think Disney Springs is the unsung hero of Disney property. The food there's just so many great options, both quick service and sit down at Disney Springs. And, the shopping is entertaining. It's enjoyable. There's stuff that you won't find in the theme parks there. We especially like Uniqlo. I always end up finding really interesting Disney shirts there that don't look like all of the stuff that you see in your theme park shops. They're a little more artsy. They're a little more kind of out of left field sometimes.
Would you say unique?
They are unique and low because they tend to be like $5 to $10 cheaper than a t-shirt at like World of Disney across the street. So
yeah, that's true.
I love to just go explore Disney Springs. Could spend all day doing it, and sometimes we do. So that's 2. And then 3, it's still kind of a theme park, but I do love the Disney water parks. I think I like Typhoon Lagoon a little bit more than Blizzard Beach, mostly because of Crush and Gusher, the trio of water coaster slides at Typhoon Lagoon, and the vegetation over the years. It's 32 years old now, so all those trees have really grown in, and it's really a lush tropical paradise as it's themed to be. So I like that one just a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Than Blizzard. But I think the slides at Blizzard Beach are a little more exciting than the slides at Typhoon Lagoon. But I think the overall atmosphere at Typhoon Lagoon is more my speed.
I would agree with you. Typhoon Lagoon is my pick usually if we're trying to decide between the 2.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And so those are my 3.
Good. All right. Oh, yeah. My turn.
Yeah. This segment only works if both of us have one.
Why are you pointing at me? Okay. 3 things. Okay, so my 3 things question for you is, when you are setting out for a day in the parks, what are 3 absolutely essential items that you have to have with you on your person to make it a successful day?
Yes. Now more than ever, definitely my cell phone. I used to take a big full-size DSLR camera with me, And cell phone camera technology has started to progress far enough that I feel less like I need to have that with me at all times. I probably will still bring it, but depending on what we're doing that day, I may more often leave it behind and just rely on my cell phone. But also now, my Disney experience and mobile magic, kind of let your cell phone be your magic band. So if you don't have a magic band, now that they charge for them, if you didn't want to pay for a magic band, your phone can operate as a magic band for charging and FastPass when FastPass comes back, or if FastPass comes back. So definitely a cell phone, and with that, my second thing would definitely be one of those power brick portable chargers to make sure you keep your cell phone charged.
That's good.
In between going back to the hotel and taking breaks and charging your cell phone, you've got that in an emergency. And then it's not something physical, but how about patience?
Oh.
Gotta pack your patience. Because I'm sure there's a whole long philosophical discussion we could have about why it's okay to not do everything or have things not, nope.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm getting at, though?
I do. We'll get to that. We'll do a whole podcast episode about patience at Disney World.
Patience at Disney World. Okay. But anyway, my third thing is pack your patience.
All right. Good.
What are your 3?
All right. So my 3 would be sunscreen. Absolutely sunscreen. And Band-Aids. That's a whole lot of walking to do, and every time I have not packed Band-Aids, I've been sorry. And my third thing is the cooling towels that we like to send to some of our clients if they're going in the summer, especially, where what are they called? Frog Togs?
They're Frog Togs, I believe is the brand, but I know
I
there's a
think
lot
there's
of
other
different
brands
ones,
too.
but we send Frog Togs.
I think it's possible that Disney makes their own too.
I'm sure they do at this point.
But anyway, the fact that you take those towels and you run them under cold water and wring them out and drape them around your shoulders or over your neck or whatever, and they just keep you cool for so long. I think they're kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And they are.
I mean, they're not going to drop your
essential-
body temperature, but they
No,
just
but
give you
they-
that little bit of refreshing
Yeah.
to kind of calm you down a little bit. Because
Yeah.
it can get
really hot in the
and
summer.
we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes.
For sure. So that would be my third one.
Excellent.
Runner-up being a poncho.
Well, yeah.
If you don't like to dart under awnings when it starts to rain.
But don't be afraid of the rain at Disney, because the rain will help clear the park out.
That's true.
People will go home. So if you pack that poncho, you get rewarded for your patience of waiting the rain out with shorter lines.
I see what you did there.
All right. And so that was 3 things. And so now we're going to talk about planning trips. And we had asked the folks who listened to our show, the half dozen or so of them, what they wanted us to talk about. Because we had a few different ideas that we wanted to try as we came back and kind of got back into the podcast groove. And the nearly unanimous decision was, talk to us about trip planning. Tell us what goes into planning a trip. What do you guys do? And so we're going to split that into the next 2 or 3 episodes here, because there's a lot to it. We kind of focus on when do you want to go, how much do you want to spend, and then what kind of vacation overall are you trying to take, because there's different strategies that go along with each different kind of trip. But today we're going to start off and just talk about picking your dates and when do you want to go. There's kind of pros and cons to every time of year, so we'll just kind of go right down the calendar. What do you think about January and February?
What do I think about January and February?
Yeah.
Well, I like January and February. We don't often get down there much past the first week of
Right.
January because of day jobs. As a teacher, I don't have a ton of flexibility on when I can go. But I like being there at that time. It gets less crowded. For whatever a less crowded day at Disney is, it's less crowded. Park hours are shorter, so you're not staying out super late.
You can spend more time at Disney Springs.
Yeah, which is okay because I don't mind turning in early and enjoying the hotel and hanging out at Disney Springs and doing some of those other fun things. And the cooler temperature also can be a nice change.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say, at that point, if you're going earlier in the year when it might be a little cooler, you maybe look at a hotel that's not so pool-centric. Mm-hmm. Like maybe that's a good time of year to go to one of the All-Stars or one of the Values where the pools aren't as extensive, save for Art of Animation that has a pretty cool pool.
Yeah.
So excellent.
All right.
Moving into spring, March through May, you start to get some bigger crowds showing up around spring break. So depending on when your spring break is, if you can do a little research and find that your spring break is at an off time versus the rest of the country, you might see some lower crowds than you might expect during that time. Temperatures are starting to warm up a little bit, so that can be nice. Not quite summer temperatures. You're not going to be melting quite yet.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, it's that unpredictable thing. I know I'll talk to my mom on the way to work every week, and all of a sudden, sometime in, late March, early April, I'm getting the, oh my gosh, it's 80 degrees here again. Oh, it's 80, and it starts to creep up. So, it can be a little unpredictable. One of the cool things that happens around this time is the Flower and Garden Festival starts at Epcot. So that's always nice to see. And that has kind of turned into a mini food and wine festival as they have added lots of unique food options to Flower and Garden to kind of bring folks in. So there's that opportunity as well.
Yeah. All right. And then this takes us to summertime, which is most often the time that we're there. So June through August. Okay. So the crowds are heavy because everyone's off. Temperatures are hot. Don't forget your cooling towels. But the longer park hours help to make that more worthwhile. And if you are really tied to a school schedule, this is your time to go. And we make it work almost every year. And I'm never sorry.
No, definitely not. I mean, it requires a little more planning until, you've reached that obsessive level that we've gotten to where you've been so many times that you're not trying to do everything. But if you are trying to do everything, all you need is a good plan.
Yeah.
And your patience.
And we can help you with
and
that.
your cooling towel.
Well, we can help you with the plan.
We can help you with we can help with the plan and the cooling towel. You gotta work that last one out on your own.
Yeah. But it is also a nice time because of those longer park hours. It makes it so much easier to say after lunch, okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to go back to our hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Swim, take some of the pressure off. And then when you're all cool and refreshed, maybe you've had a nap if you're like me, then you're ready to go for the evening. And that's a nice time of year for that to happen.
Yep. Yeah. I love the parks early in the morning till about 11:30. Then the crowds are everybody's getting wakened up and they're heading to the parks. And that's about the time that I like to bail, either right before or right after lunch, and then head back somewhere between 2:30 and 5 o'clock.
I think we started doing that when our kids were really little so they could take naps.
Yeah.
And then realize that that's just a really good strategy
for adults too.
It's a fantastic
strategy. Absolutely. Yep. And especially when the parks are open late. Like if you can get Magic Kingdom open till 11 or midnight, you head back at 5, 6 o'clock and just watch the park slowly empty out until about 11 o'clock. And then you're breezing through lines. Yeah. As the night comes to an end.
Not too bad.
You don't get to sleep very much with that strategy, but
we found we often don't sleep on vacation.
That is
That's
true.
why I need a nap in the middle of the day.
We come back more tired than when we left. But
doesn't matter where we go.
Really happy. All right. So then we move into September and October, and I love September and October. We've never really gotten to take a full, week-long vacation down there during that time, but it is the time of year when my favorite event happens at Epcot, and that's the Food and Wine Festival. And lo and behold, they started it this year on that fall month, or in that fall month of July. July 15th.
Everyone's
no longer
favorite
summer.
Month of the
It is fall event time at Epcot with the Food and Wine Festival. But we are hoping to get down there and check that out for you and give you our review in a future episode of the Food and Wine Festival. But if you like to eat things at Epcot and you like to drink things at Epcot, this is your time. Go be a champion. Yeah. Sometimes the temperatures start to cool down, but not all that much and not all that often. Traditionally, go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you feel about crowds at that time?
Traditionally, as in over the last 30 years, crowds have been smaller. I think more and more you're seeing that it's just busier at
Yeah.
Disney than it used to be. So even what used to be a slow time is still kind of a busy time, but it's not midsummer, it's not 4th of July, it's not Christmas, it's not New Year's. So
True. Okay.
definitely a good time to go. And usually, this year it's called Boo Bash, but usually that's the time of year for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which is a great event if you're not our kids when they were very, very young. We tried that one time, and Aiden...
It was fun. Why are you looking at me like that?
Aiden was so terrified of people in masks that he hid at Pecos Bills and wouldn't
that's
walk
right.
around the park.
No, it wasn't the people. Well, no, there were no masks. It wasn't
Oh.
people in masks. It was the kids that were getting the pirate.
Oh, the ghost pirate face paint.
Yes, the ghost pirate face paint.
Yeah.
That was difficult. But we got through.
All
We
right,
still
well,
had a good
that's a
time.
half-true story then from me. Julie had it right. That's good. That's
No
probably
further comment
I was
from
going to
me.
say there's probably a
exercise
long
restraint.
story to be told there. But let's talk about November and December instead.
Yeah. So November and December, a little less crowded early on, but then those holiday crowds will start and they do get intense. However, I find the most magical place on earth to be a little bit more magical at this time. I love the decorations. I love the atmosphere. And so if you can tolerate some crowds, I think it's a really fun time to go. It may not be the time that you want to go if you're determined to ride every single ride. You may not make that happen, but it's just so beautiful. I just like to take pictures around every corner and see what the next new thing is.
For sure. The crowds can be intense, and you probably aren't going to ride every single ride on property during Christmas.
Right.
But you're going to have a fantastic time. Fort Wilderness, if you bring an RV down or you stay in one of the cabins there, the folks at Fort Wilderness like to decorate their RVs and their golf carts and everything, and so that is a really fun resort to go visit. All the resorts have Christmas decorations and whatnot, or holiday decorations and whatnot in their lobbies. Lots of gingerbread houses, larger than anything you've probably ever built, unless you're really into gingerbread, all throughout the hotels, and that's always fun to explore. There's a lot to be said for holiday time at Disney. So if you are not afraid of crowds and you do pack your patience, you probably won't need your cooling towel, but that can be a really excellent time to go.
Yeah, I agree. So, okay, we didn't discuss this, but I want to ask you.
Yeah.
All things about when you can go being equal.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick any time at all to go. What time do you pick to go?
Mid-September.
Oh, okay.
How about you?
I probably pick earlier in December. Avoid a few of the crowds, but I get to see all the decorations.
Nice. Nice. So, and I was thinking about a lot of our trips, and we've started. We look at a couple of different times of summer, and we like the 4th of July week because then you don't have to burn a day of vacation because you're getting the 4th of July holiday.
True.
But you do have to deal with those crowds. So we've had a lot of success, going, but
We have.
when we go at that time and we are doing a full-on Disney vacation, we're going to go. Like, we're going from a half hour before rope drop to we're getting in line for something right as the park closes.
Oh, definitely.
And, maximizing that time. So we go pretty hard. And we're going to talk about that in a couple of episodes when we talk about what kind of vacation do you want to have. That will come back up. Mm-hmm. I've seen some other folks have slightly less crowded times in the summer when they go in the first couple weeks of June and the last couple weeks of August. We saw some friends of ours one year go the next third week of August, and they had 5-10 minute waits for anything they looked at. It just, enough people had gone back to school and things were starting to slow down for the summer, and we said, let's do that next year. And so we went that exact same week the next year, and everything was 45, 50, 60 minutes. And then the week after we left, guess what? 5-10 minute waits across the board. So it always has a lot to do in the summer with what a majority of the country's schools are doing. Schools play a huge part in how crowded the parks are. So,
Yeah.
Keep that in mind as you are planning things out.
But don't sweat it.
But
If
don't
it
sweat
goes
it.
wrong
Yeah.
like it did for us, you still have a great time. It's fine.
Yeah, we still got to go to Disney World. So,
Right.
that
Even
work-
your worst day.
Yeah,
You're at Disney World.
it's that old, your worst day at Disney is better than your best day of work. I don't know what that saying is.
That was pretty
I think
close.
it's
We'll
about
go with
golf. I think it's actually about golf, but whatever.
that. Oh,
So
all right. Well,
My-
I like it for Disney
my
better.
best day golfing still isn't very good. So it's just how I play.
Same.
Excellent. So on the next episode, we will be talking budgets, and everybody loves to talk budgets. But
It's going to be a
in
really
this
fun
case,
episode.
there's a lot. There is a lot to learn, and there's a lot that you can do with whatever budget you have for Disney. There's so many different ranges of hotel levels and ticket options that we can find you something great at Disney for just about any budget. Mm-hmm. And we'll hit that on the next episode. So, but thank you everybody for listening, everybody who's stuck with us, everybody who's come back.
Thank you for coming back.
Whether you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or YouTube, if you can subscribe, give us a like, give us a review, tell your friends, tell strangers, wherever you want to see. If you just want to make a sign and stand outside of businesses, we reward that with our thanks. So that'd be great. Just, send us pictures and we'll post them and probably not make fun of you. But we appreciate you. We thank you all for listening to what are our Disney opinions.